Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Business Podcast, your source for all things business. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Tammi Gripton on the line, and she's owner over at Senior Care Authority, and she focuses on Macomb County, Rochester, and Troy, Michigan. Tammi, welcome to the show.
Hi, very nice to meet you.
Oh, likewise, and excited about today's topic. So we're going to talk about trends in senior care, and you are the woman that I'd like to talk to you about that. But before we do, let's go a little bit further into what you're doing over at Senior Care Authority. Tell us a little bit more about your business, please.
Well, so my business is I help people place into independent living, assisted living, memory care, or residential care facilities, which are small homes where they do care for seniors. My business is free to families, so I've done a lot of the work for you. I've gone to and toured a whole bunch of different facilities and made notes and all of that. So I'll sit down with family members or even the senior who's ready to be placed, and I ask a whole bunch of questions. And we spend maybe a half hour, 45 minutes, maybe even more, coming up with exactly what kind of care you're looking for, how much you'd like to spend, and basically the area you'd like to be in. And then after that, I spend some time and I research and I talk to my contacts in the different facilities, and I physically go and tour with you, with the family members or the senior themselves. And so I'm kind of a helping hand, a hand to hold through the whole process of trying to find the right place for your family member, for your senior in your life.
I love this, and it's so I love this because I think sometimes people underestimate what it takes to do that properly. It's not like you're shopping for an apartment, so to speak. I think that's how most people tend to look at it, because possibly depending on, obviously, the person, maybe the first time they've ever had to do that is going through and maybe for one of their parents or something of that nature. And this is kind of a new trend or a new thing. So it's not like, I mean, it's a full-time job to figure out what's going to happen there. I've seen many families try to do that and go at it. They're alone, and it just takes a lot of time. And I think that's a great transition. So let's get a little bit further into just trends in senior care and what you're noticing, because you have a very unique vantage point, having visited so many facilities and also working with people day to day doing this. So where do you want to begin with this one?
Well, I could talk about what's going on right now with the COVID-19. So there are lots of different places are handling the situation differently, and I could be really helpful in that because I have contacts in a lot of the different communities. And so some places are not letting anyone in right now, and some are letting people in with the quarantine. And so that's the major changes we've seen right now as far as the trend goes. But then, you've got people who would like to go into independent living, and it's such a social, like a social environment. So a lot of times, like right now, things are, with the COVID, everyone's trying to stay in their own, but it's going to open up, and people will be going back out again, and it's such a fun, they make so many relationships with other people. Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a little bit more about kind of the housing itself and what you've noticed there? So, because there's some people listening right now that, they're in your areas in Michigan, and they're maybe considering, they're at that turning point in their life, and they don't really know where to start with this because it's their first time going through it. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Well, sure. So there's independent living, which is where people who maybe are downsizing their house, they just want to get rid of their big house and they'd like to move into an apartment. And so an independent living is kind of a nice option in that situation, because they can move into, and some of those independent livings are absolutely beautiful, high ceilings and fireplaces, and it's just gorgeous. And family members have that extra it feels good to know that they also have care there. So say your mom moves into an independent living, but she's having a little bit of trouble remembering to take her medicine. Well, they have the care people there who can help, the care facilities that can help remind her to take it. You know, so it's a good, it feels secure, right? It feels secure. And what's nice is, you know, in the assisted livings, there's more care. Maybe they need a little bit more help showering or with some of the other activities of daily living. You could get that in the assisted living. And memory care, you know, if they've got dementia and are having some trouble remembering things, that's also it's a great option. Some people work and can't be there all the time. So it's nice to know that your loved one's being cared for. And then residential care facilities are like 6-bed homes. They're actually in a home. And what's kind of nice about them is it's an all-inclusive price. So if you're looking for a certain price and you don't want to worry about the price going up too much as they need a little bit more care, a residential care facility might be a good option as well.
That's awesome. So, Tammi, I know we just barely scratched the surface on this topic. It's a big topic. That being said, we're about out of time for this episode. If somebody's listening to this and they want more information or they want to reach out, I mean, what's the best way for them to connect with you and your team?
Okay, well, I've got a website. It's seniorcare, one word, -MacombCounty.com. And my phone number with Senior Care Authority is 248-817-3214.
Fantastic.
Or they can send me an email at Tammi@seniorcareauthority.com.
All right. Well, Tammi, really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing more about your background and all the great work that you're doing over at Senior Care Authority. So great stuff there. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review in the Apple iTunes store. And if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Business, definitely give us a subscribe there, but also leave us some comments on the video. Love to know what kind of projects and things that you're working on. And Tammi, thanks again for coming on the show.
Thank you.